Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here, and this is going to be, I guess, vlog 5 in my list of vlogs. This one's not going to be too happy of a subject. It's more of a serious subject, and it has to do with hunting and safety. I'm a hunter, and I deer hunt. This is my third year. Never got anything, but it is my third year. And a couple years prior to me actually going out in the field and hunting deer, I of course had to take a class. Mine actually was at my school, and it was a semester-long class, and getting your hunter certification was part of it. But in that hunter certification class, a big portion of it had to do with safety, what you're supposed to do when you climb into your stand, when you have your gun loaded, unloaded, what to do and what not to do, stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people, they learn it and then they just ignore it. And I'm guilty of that too. Don't get me wrong. I've climbed up in a stand with rifle on my back, backpack, everything, and I just climbed up, and it was hard. It's not easy climbing up into a stand 15, 16 feet up off the ground with all that stuff attached to you or hanging off your back, and you're trying to, move under the bar and stuff like this. But that's the reason I'm bringing this video up, is because of something that happened recently. I live in the suburbs, and my mom is part of this group on Facebook that is the people of my subdivision. And over the past weekend, which was opening weekend of rifle season, she read in that group that somebody in our subdivision had died, just tragically. And at first we just saw it and heard it, and we thought it was a little suspicious, and thought it was a tragedy. Well, turns out this morning, my mom texted me and said that the person who died actually died while deer hunting. And I don't know all of the details and any of that, but the way he died was that he fell out of his tree stand. Either, maybe he was climbing up or climbing down, or maybe he just fell asleep or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the details. I never met this man. But she told me the name of this man, and I'm not going to give his name away. And I recognized the last name. And the last name was of somebody that I had gone to high school with. And, of course, this is a girl I went to high school with. And I sent her friend requests and stuff on Facebook, and she never accepted them for reasons I don't know. But being that I wasn't her friend on Facebook, I didn't really see it. And I looked her up after I found out this man's name. And it turns out that it was her father. And he was obviously a father. He was a father of 3. And he lived in the second phase of my subdivision. The subdivision's built in phases. And that family lived back there. But, it's just, it kind of sucks, And I'm not going to disrespect this man's life. I never met him. I knew his daughter. She was a nice girl, and I still didn't know her that well, but it just sucks, and it all has to do with, well, I assume it has to do with lack of consideration for hunter safety. And this is not the only situation that I can think of off the top of my head where something like this has happened. You know, this is just one example. You have to do things the right way when you're climbing up and down your tree stand. And I understand that, not wanting to pull your gun up with a rope. I can understand that. Because I used to do that, and I watched my gun just swing around and hit the tree and all this, and it just tore up my gun. So I stopped doing it. And I can understand that, the reason for not wanting to do that. But then there's also the whole thing with climbing up into the stand with the gun loaded, with it off safe, how you handle the gun when it comes up. Because this is another example here. A man that I knew from Boy Scouts. He wasn't part of my troop, but he was a different troop. Scoutmaster. I think he was a Scoutmaster. He went hunting by himself. Again, you should never go hunting by yourself. I never go hunting by myself. He went hunting by himself, climbing up into his tree stand, and he had his gun loaded. He had it on fire. He was pulling it up, and he was grabbing it by the muzzle, which you should never do, ever. Never do that. And the trigger snagged on something, and it shot a hole through his hand. Didn't blow his hand off, but it made his hand to where it wasn't fully functional. He didn't have to get it amputated or anything, but again, he was alone. He had to do first aid on himself, and he had to get himself down and get himself to a hospital and all that. But, that's just another example, of things you shouldn't do. And I'm not trying to bash these people for lack of consideration of safety. I'm just trying to make everybody aware that things happen every year when hunting. People get hurt or people die from just not doing things necessarily the way they are supposed to happen. And some people still get hurt or get killed doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And that happens all the time too. But you should always do everything you can to reduce that possibility. And the third example that I have was actually a friend of one of my cousins. I don't know if she's like my second or third cousin or whatever. She's one of my cousins on my dad's side. Excuse me. He wasn't wearing hunter orange. In the state of Missouri, it is the law to wear hunter orange when deer hunting for rifle season. For obvious reasons. Orange. There's nothing really orange out in the woods except for people wearing hunting clothes. Now, I don't necessarily understand the reason for you have to wear your hat orange and you have to wear an orange vest. I'm not necessarily understanding that. To me, a vest would do just fine. The hat, hat's kind of small, but the vest, to me, just the vest would make the most sense. But he was shot, and he died. Now, it's not because he wasn't wearing any orange. I mean, if you look through your scope and you see something moving, you should identify your target before you fire. If you know that it's not a deer or something that you're hunting, if you know it's not, an animal, you should be able to know that it's a human, and you shouldn't be pulling the trigger. And if you're trying to, look through the scope to see something in the distance, you're not sure what it is, keep your finger off the trigger until you know for sure what it is, and you know that that is something that you want to shoot. Don't be that person that accidentally shot this hunter and cost him his life. That hunter has a family at home. He has people that love him, and you have people that love you. And if you're not taking all the safety precautions that you're supposed to be taking, one day your family might wake up and you're not there because of a mistake that you made or that somebody else made. And you can't undo that. You just can't. I'm sorry I made this so deep, but it's the truth. You have to be careful. You have to never go hunting by yourself. Never. My uncle does it all the time, and that's his choice. But I would never do it. First of all, I hate being alone to begin with for any extended amount of time. But I could never just go out in the woods by myself and just for a weekend. I couldn't do that. Especially knowing that I could screw up and hurt myself, and I have nobody else to turn to help save my life except for myself. And I'm an Eagle Scout, but that doesn't mean that I necessarily have all the equipment or all the knowledge to do every single possibility out there that could happen to me. So I just wanted to make everybody aware, this is hunting season. Just be careful when you're out there. Come back alive or unharmed. You have a family that loves you, and you don't want them to have to get a phone call saying that something bad happened. That's nothing that anybody ever wants to hear. So anyway, that's vlog 5. I'm Redneck Mini 14. Subscribe to my channel. Like me on Facebook. See you later.